Good morning. I have a visitor from a cat here. Good morning to the rising sun. Today is the 10th of June, and we took the card, the Fool. And the Fool is an archetype in our stone circle, which is very much connected between the spiritual dimension, the divine dimension, and the real political dimension. It was a very important archetype in former peace communities, in tribes. It was a very, in many different cultures, you find this figure as often it was a transgender person, which had both genders balanced inside of himself, of herself. They knew both aspects very deep. And because of this, they were able to mirror both aspects, especially when we saw stagnations in the structure of the community, where we discovered that there are habits where the structure made people blind. So the Fool needs to have the anchor very deeply in the divine power to then dare to mirror at points where others don't speak anymore. And for me, this is the second time now that we took the card, the Fool, and in this challenging time, for me, it's a deep learning to invite art, to invite the word, to invite music, to confront us with this spaces inside of us where darkness made us blind, where we are following structures which we don't notice anymore. In Tamara, we will go here for 1 week, no, for 2 weeks nearly. We will be in a whole group in a kind of love school where we will focus on the question of our wild nature and on the question, how are we able to speak truth without hurting each other? We will be offline for a while. I don't go to the internet only for the Ring of Power. And sometimes we need this time to really reflect. For us, it's also to concentrate ourselves to the impulses. Why did we found this project? That we really come back to the origin, to the impulse, and look what needs clarification, what needs transparency. And especially if we are changing from this ego me to we call it the higher self, where we enter the holistic space of perceiving things, the pain of the world comes really close to our soul. We feel Gaza in our bones. We feel what is happening in the Ukraine, in Africa, in Brazil, and many places. We feel the suffering and how to transform it to a power that we don't forget what we do here at the point where we live can have an impact if we do our research deep enough and if we are willing to mirror us at places where we normally don't mirror ourselves anymore. So the Fool is always ready to go to zero. The Fool is always ready to start anew. The Fool is always ready to speak truth. And if I go to the world of spiritual movements, I very often miss this part. We speak so often of the enlightenment, we speak of the unity, and we speak that there is a me where we all are connected with, which is beyond all these structures. And this is true. It's very important to discover this truth. And then, do we ask ourselves daily, am I staying with my truth? Am I speaking my truth? How can we ever be enlightened if we at this moment are not truthful? So the Fool will help us to mirror the points where we say, in this case I don't tell the truth, it's too difficult. Or maybe I will hurt the other one too much, because of this I don't speak it. But take responsibility. If we do this too much as a habit, we will lose the truth of the divine. So the divine needs our anchor clearly, open, free, and the Fool helps us to see where we are in stagnation, to see where we mirror the world with anger instead of truthful compassion, or where we closed our heart doors in indifference. So may the Fool help us to raise our voice. And as you know, we have no internet in this 14 days, only for the Ring of Power. I am also going to this retreat to deepen the picture with the movement Women in White. How can we create a movement where certain groups build together a ring of power, where we stay with non-violence, where we stay with our voice of motherhood for the world in compassion to the suffering. And I always feel a picture, 13 women at different places raising their voice in the same moment. It's still not ready, and I carry it in my heart, and we receive interesting mails. Let's take the picture into our heart until we suddenly know how to act. Yes, and I will use this week to deeply listen, to transform anger into the power of compassion and raising the voice where I feel it really has an impact. It can bring the change what we are looking for because we know it in our own heart. In this sense, I wish all of us a blessed week. Grace will lead us home, and the Fool will support us to see where we are blind and to open our heart for the divine reality. So they are a beautiful couple, the Fool and Grace. Warm greetings, and I wish all of you a blessed week. Ya Asim.